Welcome back. Today I have a glitch in the Matrix stories for you guys. Life is a matrix, so there will be glitches. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I couldn't believe what was happening. It had started like any other mundane evening when I decided to order pizza for my family. We were all hungry, and pizza was our go-to comfort food. Little did I know that this seemingly ordinary act would plunge us into a nightmarish glitch in the fabric of reality. As I placed the order, the delivery app estimated a 30-minute wait time. I went back to the living room, where my family was gathered, eagerly anticipating the delicious meal. We decided to watch a movie to pass the time until the pizza arrived. 40 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I jumped up, thinking it was the delivery guy, albeit a little late. But when I opened the door, I was met with a sense of déjà vu. The same pizza delivery guy, the same pizza box in hand, stood before me. "Sorry for the delay," he said, as if he hadn't just delivered the same pizza to us a while ago. "Here's your pizza." Confused and unsure, I took the pizza from him and returned to the dining table. My family was equally baffled, but we shrugged it off as a strange coincidence. After all, there could be multiple delivery guys with identical pizzas, right? As we ate, the eerie feeling lingered. I couldn't shake off the sensation that I had tasted this exact pizza before, but I pushed the thought away, not wanting to ruin the moment with unnecessary paranoia. However, my appetite seemed insatiable, despite having just eaten the same pizza minutes ago. With dinner over, we all settled onto the sofa to watch the movie, hoping to distract ourselves from the bizarre events. But just a few minutes into the film, the doorbell rang again. My heart sank as I looked at the clock. It had only been 10 minutes since the last delivery. Could it be a prank? Or perhaps the pizza place was experiencing some computer glitch, sending the same delivery guy with the same order repeatedly? It seemed like the only plausible explanation, so I got up to answer the door once more, my family following closely behind. Sure enough, there he was again, the same delivery guy holding the same pizza box, looking just as confused as we were. "I'm so sorry," he said apologetically, his brow furrowed with puzzlement. "I must have brought the wrong order earlier. This one's for you." The sight was surreal, but we didn't want to make a scene. We accepted the pizza, thanked him, and returned to the living room, feeling like we had stepped into a strange and unsettling loop. Back on the sofa, we exchanged worried glances, not knowing what to make of the situation. Could it be a glitch in the Matrix? A tear in the fabric of reality, causing us to relive these moments over and over again? It sounded absurd, like something out of a sci-fi movie, but we couldn't deny what was happening right before our eyes. As the movie played, I tried to focus on the plot, but my mind kept wandering to the enigmatic doorbell. Dread filled me as I heard it ring once more, interrupting the movie for the third time. I hesitated before getting up this time, my heart pounding in my chest. I was scared of what I might find outside the door. But curiosity and a desperate need for answers compelled me to answer it anyway. And there he stood, the delivery guy, with the same pizza in hand, looking just as perplexed as before. My family stood behind me, their eyes wide with shock and confusion. "I don't understand," he muttered, almost to himself. "This is the same order, right?" We couldn't find the words to respond. The air felt heavy, suffocating us as if we were trapped in a suffocating nightmare. Desperation and fear gnawed at me. My family looked to me, expecting me to have a solution, but I was as clueless as they were. We needed to break this cycle, to find a way out of this haunting reality. With trembling hands, I decided to call the pizza place to report the strange occurrences. The manager sounded bewildered as I explained the situation, but he assured me that they only received one order from our address. "We'll look into it," he promised. "I'm not sure what's happening, but we'll do our best to resolve it." But even as I hung up the phone, the doorbell rang once more. This time, I couldn't bring myself to answer it. Fear paralyzed me, and my family remained on the sofa, huddled together, their faces pale with terror. As the doorbell continued to chime incessantly, the reality around us seemed to warp and twist, like a waking nightmare. I couldn't escape the feeling that we were trapped in a loop of endless pizza deliveries, unable to break free. Hours passed, and the doorbell never ceased its haunting melody. The same delivery guy kept arriving with the same pizza, repeating the same apology, while we continued to eat the same meal on an infinite loop. I knew we were trapped in something beyond our comprehension, something far more sinister than a mere computer glitch. It felt like a glitch in the very fabric of our reality, a malevolent force toying with us, driving us to the brink of madness. As the night wore on, the sense of dread and hopelessness grew. We were prisoners in our own home, tormented by an unending cycle of pizza deliveries. And with each repetition, our fear deepened, knowing that the next doorbell might bring something far more terrifying than the previous one. In the end, I realized there was only one option: to confront whatever sinister force had ensnared us in this haunting reality. I had to face the doorbell and the delivery guy one last time, no matter what awaited me on the other side. Gathering my courage, I opened the door to confront the unknown. But this time, there was no delivery guy standing there, no pizza box in hand. Instead, there was a void, a swirling darkness that seemed to beckon me into its depths. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, determined to break free from this endless loop and unravel the glitch in the matrix that had trapped us in this terrifying nightmare. As I stepped into the darkness, my vision blurred, and my world began to disintegrate around me. And then, there was nothing. No pizza, no delivery guy, no family. Just an empty void. The doorbell had stopped ringing, and the nightmare had finally come to an end. Or had it? In the void, I sensed a presence, something watching me, waiting to ensnare me again. As the darkness closed in around me, I realized that the glitch in the matrix was far from over. It had only just begun. And I was still trapped in its haunting grasp. In the distance, I heard the faint sound of a doorbell ringing. Again. And again. And again. Forever echoing in the depths of the glitched reality. My name is Alex, a typical high school student leading a normal life. But on a crisp Monday morning, my reality took a bizarre turn. As I rode my bicycle to school, I noticed something odd. There was an eerie absence of cars and people on the streets. It was as if the world around me had frozen in time, leaving me as the sole inhabitant of this deserted landscape. At first, I brushed it off as a strange coincidence. Maybe it was just a late start to the day, or perhaps I had mistaken the time. But as I continued pedaling towards school, the empty streets remained hauntingly silent, devoid of any signs of life. As I approached the high school, my heart sank further. There were no students outside, no bustling chatter, or laughter that usually accompanied the start of a school day. I felt a chill run down my spine, a gnawing sense of unease settling in the pit of my stomach. Against my better judgment, I entered the school building, hoping to find some answers inside. To my astonishment, the school was teeming with students and teachers, the halls filled with the usual hustle and bustle. It was as if the world outside had been isolated from this vibrant microcosm. Dumbfounded, I wandered through the crowded corridors, my mind racing with questions. Had I stepped into a parallel reality? Was this a glitch in the matrix, a tear in the fabric of space-time? Or was I losing my grip on reality, trapped in some surreal nightmare? Unable to ignore the disconnect between the deserted streets outside and the bustling school inside, I decided to confide in my best friend, Jake. We met near our lockers, and I cautiously broached the subject, half expecting him to think I'd lost my mind. "Hey, Jake," I began hesitantly, "have you noticed anything strange about today? Like, the streets being empty on the way to school?" Jake looked at me quizzically, his brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" The streets were normal for me. I saw the usual cars and people on my way here. My heart sank even further. My friend's response confirmed that something inexplicable was happening, and I wasn't simply imagining it. But how could our realities diverge so drastically when we followed the same route to school? As the day wore on, the contradictions became more apparent. During lunch break, I looked out of the window, and the world outside seemed to flicker and waver like an old television set. It was as if the fabric of reality was being stretched and distorted, revealing glimpses of different versions of my surroundings. During my classes, I struggled to concentrate, haunted by the uncertainty of my existence. The students around me were living their normal lives, oblivious to the glitch that ensnared me. I felt like an outsider, an anomaly in this seemingly ordinary world. In a desperate bid to understand what was happening, I turned to the internet, searching for answers. I stumbled upon stories of people who had experienced similar disruptions in reality, tales of parallel dimensions, time loops, and altered perceptions of the world. One story stood out to me, a traveler's account of shifting realities. The traveler spoke of a place called the Nexus, a liminal space where the boundaries between dimensions were thin, and glitches in reality were common. I couldn't help but wonder if I had stumbled upon this elusive nexus, caught between two parallel worlds. With newfound determination, I decided to explore this mysterious phenomenon further. I revisited the streets outside my school, trying to discern any patterns or clues that could shed light on the situation. But each time, the experience was different. Sometimes the streets were empty, and other times they were bustling with activity. Inside the school, the glitches persisted as well. In the same classroom, The blackboard would sometimes bear different notes, and the students around me would change expressions mid-conversation, as if they were caught in a loop. As the days turned into weeks, I learned to navigate this fractured reality. I adapted to the shifting nature of my surroundings, always on guard for any signs of inconsistency. My friends, teachers, and family remained oblivious to the strange occurrences, leaving me to unravel the enigma alone. One day, while walking home from school, I encountered a mysterious figure by the name of Dr. Eliana Carter. She introduced herself as a quantum physicist specializing in the study of parallel dimensions. Intrigued by my experiences, she offered to help me understand the nexus and the glitches in my reality. Under her guidance, I learned that the nexus was a convergence point of countless realities, an intersection where the boundaries between dimensions blurred and overlapped. I was like a traveler caught between multiple worlds, experiencing echoes of different versions of my life. Dr. Carter explained that my consciousness had somehow become attuned to the fluctuations in the nexus, making me sensitive to the glitches that occurred there. It was a rare ability, one that I could harness to unlock the secrets of the multiverse. Embracing my unique gift, I started to experiment with the glitches, manipulating my perceptions to navigate between different realities. With practice, I could choose which version of my surroundings I wanted to experience, exploring the beauty and diversity of the multiverse. But with this newfound power came great responsibility. I realized that the Nexus was a delicate and volatile place, and tampering with its fabric could have unforeseen consequences. Dr. Carter warned me to tread cautiously, lest I upset the delicate balance of existence. As time passed, I grew more comfortable with the glitches in the Matrix, embracing the uncertainty and wonder of the multiverse. I no longer felt like an outsider in my reality but rather a curious explorer, venturing into uncharted territories of the mind. My experiences with the Nexus taught me that the world is far more complex and mysterious than I had ever imagined. And while the glitches in the Matrix were strange and unsettling, they also opened my eyes to the infinite possibilities that lay beyond our conventional understanding of reality. Now, as I ride my bicycle to school each day, I welcome the glitches, eager to explore the vast and wondrous tapestry of the multiverse. For in this strange and disrupted reality, I have found not just a glimpse into the unknown but a profound and humbling appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things. And as I pedal through the Nexus, I know that my journey is just beginning. Life had always been ordinary for me. I followed a routine that felt like clockwork, day in and day out. But on one fateful morning, everything changed. I woke up, expecting another uneventful day, but as I glanced at myself in the bathroom mirror, I noticed something strange. My reflection was lagging behind, as if it struggled to keep up with my movements. I blinked, thinking it was just a trick of the light, but as I moved my hand, my reflection did the same a split second later. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I realized that something was terribly wrong. At work, the strange occurrences continued. I noticed flickers of movement in my peripheral vision, shadows that darted and disappeared as soon as I turned to look at them. Colleagues appeared to repeat the same conversations with me, word for word, as though we were stuck in a never-ending loop. As days passed, the glitches intensified. The world around me seemed to fragment like a shattered mirror, each fragment showing a slightly different version of reality. I tried to convince myself that it was just stress, fatigue, or perhaps even my mind playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew there was more to this unsettling experience. One evening, while walking home, I saw a figure standing in the distance. It looked like me, but there was something off about it. As I got closer, I realized that it was my reflection, separate from me, moving independently. I gasped, frozen in fear and disbelief. "You're not real," I whispered, trying to comprehend the impossible. The reflection turned to face me, its eyes cold and distant. "Neither are you." I stumbled back, heart pounding in my chest. Was this some twisted dream, a figment of my imagination gone awry? But the more I tried to rationalize it, the more the glitches in my reality seemed to multiply. I began to research the phenomenon, scouring the internet for answers. The more I dug, the more I came across tales of others experiencing similar glitches in the Matrix, echoes of alternate realities bleeding into our own. The more I read, the more I question the very nature of my existence. One night, I found a forum where people shared their stories of living in parallel worlds, each version of themselves unaware of the others. They called themselves glitch walkers, and their accounts sent chills down my spine. Some had managed to communicate with their alternate selves, leaving messages in hidden places or sending cryptic emails across the boundaries of reality. I decided to try it myself, to reach out to the other me that haunted my reflections. With trembling hands, I wrote a letter, describing the glitches and my confusion, and left it under my bed, a place where I hoped the other version of me might find it. The next morning, I checked under the bed, and to my shock, the letter was gone. I couldn't believe it, the experiment had worked. I felt a mix of excitement and terror, not knowing what to expect. Days passed without any response, and I started to lose hope. But then, as I looked into the mirror, my reflection smiled back at me, and I knew. It wasn't my smile, it was the other me, the one from the fractured reality. We started communicating through hidden messages, writing letters, and leaving them in secret places. I learned that she was experiencing the same glitches, the same sense of confusion and fear. We exchanged stories of our lives, realizing how our paths had diverged in subtle but significant ways. In time, we developed a connection that went beyond the physical world. It was as if our minds were entangled across the boundaries of reality. We shared thoughts, emotions, and experiences, bridging the gap between our fractured existences. But as we grew closer, the glitches around us intensified. Reality seemed to distort even more, as if the very fabric of the universe strained under the weight of our connection. I feared that we were unraveling the very essence of our shared reality. One night, as I stood before the mirror, I saw something in the reflection that sent a chill down my spine. A dark figure stood behind the other me, obscured by shadows, but its presence was palpable. I knew it was a glitch, a sinister entity that lurked in the spaces between realities. "Be careful," the other me whispered, her voice trembling. "It knows we're connected. It wants to sever us." Fear gripped me as I realized the danger we were in. The entity wanted to keep us separate, to maintain the fragile boundaries between realities. Our connection threatened its existence, and it would stop at nothing to preserve its control over our lives. But we refused to be separated. We were no longer just reflections, we were entwined souls, bound across dimensions. Together, we hatched a plan to confront the entity, to face the glitch that sought to keep us apart. On a moonless night, we stood before the mirror, hands clasped, and summoned all our courage. As we focused our minds on the entity, the reflection started to ripple and distort, like a pebble thrown into a pond. The room around us faded, and we found ourselves in a surreal and nightmarish void. The entity loomed before us, a twisted manifestation of malevolence. It taunted us, promising to tear us apart and return us to our separate realities. But we stood strong, united in our resolve. With every ounce of determination, we reached out and grasped the entity's form, willing it to dissolve into nothingness. The struggle was intense, and for a moment, it felt as if we were losing ourselves in the darkness. But then, with a burst of energy, the entity shattered like glass, its malevolence scattering into the void. We had won. As we stood together, triumphant, we realized that the glitches were fading away. The fractures in our reality healed, and the world around us regained its stability. We had overcome the glitch in the matrix, reclaiming our existence and breaking free from the malevolent entity that sought to keep us apart. Our connection remained, but now it was a source of strength and unity, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. We had transcended the boundaries of reality, forging a bond that would endure across dimensions and time. Life returned to a semblance of normalcy, but we knew we would never be the same. We had glimpsed the mysteries that lay beyond our limited perception of reality, and we carried that knowledge with us, a precious secret that bound us together forever. As the days turned into weeks, the glitches faded into distant memories, and life resumed its ordinary rhythm. But every time I looked into the mirror, I couldn't help but smile. I knew that beyond the reflection, a part of me existed in a world that was both familiar and otherworldly, where glitches were a reminder of the strength of our connection and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unknown. Thank you so much for joining me on this thrilling journey through the world of horror and suspense. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all my spooky content. If you're craving more hair-raising tales and heart-pounding adventures, check out the suggested videos on your screen right now.